Now that create room is working, we need to set it up to list created rooms. I want to make another menu script for my room listing, so I'm going to go into scripts, UI, rooms, and then make a new script where I'll call it room listings menu. I'm going to go ahead and select room listings and then drop that script on there. It's taking its time to compile. There we go. And then I'm going to open that script up. I know right away I'm going to be using pun callbacks, so I'm going to add that onto the mono behavior. And it's not recognizing it, so make sure you include the namespace as well. I don't need start or update, so I'm going to get rid of those. I do, however, need a serialized field for a game object, and this will be the room listing. So I'll do room listing prefab. Actually, I don't really need to specify a prefab. Then I'm going to do another one, which will be transform, and this will be content. So this will be where the room listings are added to. So I'm going to save my script and then go back to the editor. And now I'm going to select my room listings object in the hierarchy here, expand it. There's my content, so I'm going to go back to room listings and drag in content. And under room listing for the prefab, make sure you don't choose the one that's in the hierarchy. Make sure you actually choose the prefab. So I'm going to right click this. I'm going to do select prefab asset. And I'm going to go back to room listings and drag in that asset from the project folder, not from the hierarchy. And now I just need to delete this since it's no longer needed. And then I'm going to go back to my room listings menu. Now I need to know whenever my room list updates or whenever I get information about a created room. This is for if you are joining a room so that you can see rooms that are already made. So what I'm looking for is public override void on created room. Nope, actually, I think it's on room list updated. There we go. And it's going to require a list of room infos. And I'm going to check and see if this one has any code in it. It does not, like all the others. So I can get rid of this line here. And now I need to populate my content based on the room infos here. I'm fairly certain I don't have any code set on my room listing yet that I can update the values like the text of the room name. So I'm going to go back and check that out real quick. Going to select my room listing, and actually I'm going to move it under main menu, which is actually going to be called rooms because I don't have the main menu scene anymore. So now I'm going to open up my room listing prefab. I can see there's no script on here which will let me change any values on the prefab. So I need to set that up now. I'm going to go over to scripts and then rooms, and I'm going to make a new script. And I'll call it room listing. I'll open that script up. And I just want to, for now, just set the room name text. So I'm going to do private text, and it's going to require unityengine.ui underscore text. I'm going to do public void set room info. And then I'll just, I think I'll just accept a room info class. That way I can just pull the data right from it. It's not going to recognize it, so I have to add using photon.realtime. And I don't need the start or update. I'm just going to add the max players and the room name to the text field whenever I call set room info. So I'm going to do underscore text.text equals room info dot max players plus comma, just add a space to separate the two, room info dot name, and that will pass in the name of the room. So I'm going to save that script and then go over to my room listings menu. What I want to do is go through every single room listing. So I'm going to do for each room info. I'll just call it info in room list. I'm going to do game object. Actually, fun tip here, you can actually instantiate the script right from the instantiate method without having to use get component after. So we'll go ahead and do that. And since I know the name of the class now, I'm going to go ahead and change game object to room listing under the underscore room listing field. And then I'm going to instantiate directly to the script. So I'm going to do room listing equals instantiate. Actually, sorry, I gotta cast it. So I'm gonna do room listing instantiate and then underscore room listing, and the parent will be content. It looks like Visual Studio is telling me that this cast is redundant. I'm gonna go ahead and drop it off. I put it in there because the API shows the cast in the documentation for Unity, but it looks like it's not needed after all. So now I'm gonna do if listing doesn't equal null, which it should never equal null in this case, but just in case, dot set room info, and I'm going to pass in info, and that will update the text field on the room listing. So I'm going to save my script and then go back to the engine where I will add this script right here to room listing to the prefab and set it up. Okay, so I still have my room listing prefab open. So I'm going to select the base of it, room listing, where I will add the room listing script onto it. And I just need to drop in the text component down here. And since I'm in prefab edit mode, the changes are made automatically, so I don't have to control save or anything like that. That's assuming you had autosave checked. If you notice, let me go back to it real quick. There's an autosave checkbox right up here whenever you open the prefab. Now I need to go to my room listings canvas, and you can see I don't have the prefab set yet. So I'm going to drag in room listing under my project folder into that field there, and then save my scene. And I'm ready to do a test build, but if you saw my scriptable object video for singletons, you know you have to have a reference to the scriptable object at one point in your game. It's fine if you're using it on the editor only. You don't need a reference. You can just pull it directly from the code, but in order for it to be included inside the build, it has to have a reference somewhere in your game. So typically you would just add the reference to the loading screen. We don't have a loading screen though, so I'm going to add it here. And I need to make a new script. I'm just going to drop it in the main script folder for now. I'm going to call it singleton references, where I will open that script up. And all I'm going to do is just add a serialized field, private master manager underscore master manager. And that's all you got to do. And once you go back to Unity and that compiles, I'm going to add that script onto the singleton references, and now I'm going to drag in my master manager scriptable object. I just did a test build and the rooms were not being listed inside the content here, so let me see what might be going on with that. Alright, so through some debugging I found the issue. Have to head over to test connect here, and then under on connected to master, we have to join the lobby. I intentionally left this step out previously because the documentation says unless you have to join a lobby, don't, but you actually have to join a lobby to get the room list updates. So in our instance, we have to join the lobby, so that's exactly what we're going to do. So the call is really simple. I'm just going to do photon network.join lobby, and if you don't pass in any arguments, it uses the lobby type as default. With that saved, I'm going to go back to Unity, and I already have a build where I can create a room, so I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to hit play, and I'm going to hit play on our editor as well. You don't necessarily have to follow along, I'm just ensuring you that it is working. So I'm going to go ahead and make a room, hit create room, and as you can see, it exists. There is a problem though. if I close out of this window, it adds a duplicate because it's passing in a room list update, and we're not checking if the room has been created or if it's been destroyed, so it just assumes it's a new room being added and it appears in a list, so we have to adjust accordingly. So I'm going to hit stop. I'm going to go back to my editor. I'm going to have to modify room listing. So I'm going to go to my room listing script. I will make a public room info. Call it room info, and I'm going to make it get private set. And then I will do room info equals room info. So I'm setting the public room info accessor get set here to the parameter room info with the lowercase r. And then I'm going to go back to my room listings menu. So then I just have to add a check in here. If info dot and then removed from list. Photon will set this to true if the room is being removed from the list. Otherwise, else if being added to the list. So I'm going to do added to rooms list, removed from rooms list. And in order to set this up to remove it from the list, we actually have to store our rooms that have been added or references to them. So I'm going to do private list room info, or actually we're going to do room listing, and I'm going to do room listings. Let's not get it confused with that. Actually, I'm just going to call it listings equals new list room listing, and then under where I add rooms, I'm going to do listings.add listing. And now I can search through this on which room to remove and destroy from our content transform. I'm going to use find index for this, so I'll do int index equals listings.findIndex x equals greater than x dot room info dot name. So I want to compare room names because room names are unique. Equals info dot name. So this will get me the index of whichever listing has the same room name as the one in which we received. And we can't rely on the class being the same because the class will likely change with updated information such as if it's been removed from the list or not, and thus won't match up. Do if index does not equal -1, which means if it's found, I'm going to destroy the game object for the listing. So I'm going to do destroy underscore listings index dot game object, and I'm going to remove the listing from the list as well. So underscore listings dot remove at index. So I'm going to go ahead and save and then go back to my editor. I went ahead and went to File, Build, and Run in my project, in which I have the executable up now. If you need to do that for testing, go ahead and pause the video and do it now. Okay, so with the executable up, I'm going to hit play, and then I'm going to hit play inside Unity as well. Alright, so right now I have no rooms up, so I'm going to click my executable where I will make a room called ABC. I will create it. As you can see, it appears with 4 as the max players because that's what we have set. I'm going to go to my executable folder where I built it and then open another one. Hit play on that as well. And now I'm going to type in XYZ and then create room. And you can see that it's getting it here, but some reason this one is not receiving the XYZ, so something isn't entirely right. This one's updating fine, but these two are not. So maybe I have to rebuild my executable. This might be an old one. I'm going to test that out and find out. So I'm going to close out of ABC. You'll see it go away. And I'll close out of XYZ, and you'll see that go away as well. Okay, so looking back, that actually wasn't a bug. We weren't seeing all the rooms updated because on the ones that were missing rooms, they actually created a room and they were in their own room. And when you're in a room, you will not get room updates. So that's actually expected behavior, which brings me to my next video. We will show how to show players in a room when you join or create a room.